the Chase Sapphire Preferred is not worth it for you unless you're going to actually come out ahead of its $95 annual fee. And yeah, it comes with $50 in credits towards travel that's to be booked on the Chase travel portal, whether that's cruises, rental cars, hotels, airlines, and anything else on the travel portal. But it's also common knowledge that the prices here are actually a little overpriced. So if you take $95 and subtract $50, it's like you're paying $45 out of pocket. Let's keep the math simple and say, all right, well, this is what we're paying, but what are we actually getting for that $45? And it's not going to be worth it unless you literally meet this specific criteria. Apart from the earn rate being one of the best at the time, over the years, there have been so many cards that can beat this earn rate here today. For example, with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, we're looking on that same portal at 5x Chase points earned per dollar spent, which it's not too bad. But if you take that at a cashback level value, say 5x is 5% back, if the prices on the portal are going to be 10% or 15% more, then that 5% really doesn't help us. And let's say we're not booking on the portal. Then we're looking at 2x points per dollar spent. And 2x points, the whole thing with this Chase points is that if you cash them out, it's going to be 1 penny a point. But the superpower of this card, where it could be worth this annual fee, is that you can use these points and then transfer them totally outside of this Chase ecosystem to transfer partners such as hotels and airlines, where when we use these points to book said flights or hotel nights, that's where those points can stretch in value so much further. And on a more daily basis, we're looking at 3x points per dollar spent for dining, which that's cool, but there's a lot of other cards, which I'll cover in a sec, that can do pretty much the same. And you're looking at 3x on online streaming services, which, again, unless you're spending like $1,000 a month or something substantial, it's not really about spending more to get these points, but how many points are you going to earn on your $10 a month subscription or $20 a month subscription, right? And at the same time, we're looking at 3x, not on groceries as a whole, but online groceries, which I agree. It's kind of a trend that's been more normalized as well over the years. But again, is it preferred? Like, why not just give us literally 3x on groceries as well? So that's Chase's decision. And you're looking at 1x everywhere else. So for that $45 effectively, what are we actually paying for? And more than paying, are we going to come out ahead? And this is where this card's going to make sense for you. There's a feature known as partner benefits, and not to be confused with transfer partners, but more like merchant benefits. So with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, these merchants change over around a couple years or so, whether it's the amount of credits you get with them or just a partner doesn't exist at all whatsoever. And at the time of recording, we're looking at DoorDash being one of these partners. With DoorDash, we're looking at $120 towards Dash Pass, which is basically their membership to DoorDash to get, let's say, free delivery or discounted rates or special offers. But if that's not basically a part of your lifestyle, then you could be valuing it at basically way less. Or are you even getting any value in general? And apart from this more membership, or rather comped membership, I would also say you also get $120 to DoorDash in general, which is distributed to us in monthly credits of $10 each. And it's, again, very specific to be used for non-food delivery orders. So whether that's retail purchases or groceries like a CVS, Walgreens, or groceries, what have us, right? You're looking at $10 off one order. And if you spend, let's say, less than 10 to trigger this credit, then you'll just use whatever amount could be used for that transaction, and you'd be forfeiting the rest. So all of that to say, if you use DoorDash, great. And are you going to come out ahead? You also need to be ordering, let's say, these non-food delivery items. And from there, another partner we have is Lyft. And with Lyft, you're going to look at 5x Chase points earned per dollar spent. So if for some reason you're forced to take Uber, then you're going to be looking at that general 2x points per dollar spent with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. But if it's under your lifestyle, then why not? Because let's say you're spending, on average, you commute heavily, maybe you're in New York and you're spending like $500 a month on Lyft for whatever reason, right? So 500 times 12 months, a quick example, is 6K. And then 6K at 5x points is going to be like 30,000 points, which even in cash is worth $300 cash. So that $45 effective annual fee we're paying, we're going to come out way ahead. So it could actually be really worth it to have the Chase Sapphire Preferred if you have that much in Lyft spend. And the final partner benefit is for Peloton, where if you're spending with Peloton just organically, there's probably better cards and better promotions and otherwise. Yet in general, with the Preferred, we're looking at 5x points per dollar spent on purchases above $150 specifically. So simple maths is like you're getting, let's say, $7.50 at the minimum level of transaction. But without breaking too much into the math, if you're probably spending on Peloton, maybe you're spending like, let's just say, a grand arbitrarily. And so a grand at 5x is 5,000 points, which is $50, which automatically basically negates the annual fee. Yet again, Peloton, there's probably better cards. Topic for another video. Why is the preferred so famous and so liked? Apart from a bunch of marketing dollars that are just pushed onto the populace through Chase slash JP Morgan Chase and whatnot, in general, I would also say that the power of the transfer partners, if you've watched any Chase video about anything with points, you probably heard of Hyatt hotels. And with them, on average, you're looking at 2 cents per point in terms of value. And so if you have, let's say, 10,000 points, instead of redeeming them for $100 cash, you could be getting, let's say, up to $200 worth of hotels or even more. And irrespective of how much you're going to spend, let's say, on a hotel night, even if it's not the full 200, let's say it was 150, right? So even if your true value, you're saying of my 10,000 points afforded me to save $150 out of my pocket, then you're still getting more than that 1 penny per point value. And one more thing is the sign-up bonuses for the preferred have always been basically huge compared to the annual fee they charge. So for example, at the time of recording, we're looking at 75,000 Chase points that we could earn. So in cash, that's $750 that we're going to get after $5,000 in minimum spend in the first 3 months. And although this number for a minimum spend may be a bit high, you also think about it, if you are the target consumer, for $95, you're basically getting more than 7x in value by doing the same spend that you're doing anyways. So it almost sounds like a no-brainer. Like, why not? And once you're into this ecosystem of everything with Chase, now you have choices. There's a higher annual fee card known as the Chase Sapphire Reserve. There are lower tier cards such as the Chase Freedom Unlimited, the Chase Freedom Flex, and other no annual fee options. So kind of like Apple, it's basically like an ecosystem where you're getting kind of these advantages of different perks different cards have to offer, different benefits, and more of that daily lifestyle cashback type of earner. And then you also have the travel slash luxury travel side of everything else. So let's say the incentive bonus in the beginning, like that's great, right? But let's say it's not your style. You're like, all right, well, I think I can do better longer term by just getting better multipliers, not really having this thinking of, okay, I'm paying this annual fee. Am I getting value? Am I not? Oh, hey, these partners suck and they don't really, support my lifestyle, my spending, what have us, right? There are other options. For example, the Wells Fargo autograph card, it earns 3x points on, let's say, travel and a bunch of other categories where it could make so much more sense for one to have. What's the disadvantage? Yeah, it has no annual fee, so that's a plus. But guess what? There's no other partner benefits or credits or transfer partners in the slew of the list that Chase has to offer to us. That's basically the high level trade off. On the flip side, you have another card by Wells Fargo known as a Built MasterCard, which is advertised to be the best card with the best transfer partners out there, period. And it has $0 regarding our annual fee. And it still has like benefits, like neighborhood benefits if you're spending at like Walgreens, and a lot of people call them random benefits. But in the end of the day, it's still like a connected ecosystem. You're still using a card that you have. It has no annual fee. It has partners like Hyatt, like Alaska Airlines, which are some of the most precious slash there's just literally no other way to get these points other than having literally Chase cards for Hyatt and for Alaska. Built is the only one at this time, unless you have a pure Alaska credit card through Bank of America, for example, or the business version. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's going to be for you if you literally fall into this category of someone who's not just chasing that intro bonus, of someone who basically just wants to maintain maybe that Chase relationship to have the optionality or better approval odds of getting approved for, let's say, a higher tier card down the line, or maybe a lower tier or some different Chase card, right? Because they know, all right, if you join their ecosystem, you're good, you're doing all the right things, then why not extend you more credit or more other products basically under their entire portfolio? So who's this card really not meant for? Anyone who's not going to take advantage of these partner benefits. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm tracking this every month, I hope I break even on the $45. Like, there's two schools of thought, right? Is the $45 so much that it matters? One school of thought is, well, hey, the banks are charging us this annual fee. So if every penny counts, then we should also care how we're spending our dollars with these financial tools. On the flip side, if the 45 is like stretching you for whatever reason, then just the whole concept of, let's say, credit cards, or even just what all the preferred has to offer, like it has these categories which maybe the average person is not spending on, So it's not a luxury style card, but it's definitely not, maybe, let's say, if you're earning minimum wage, I'm not saying you're not spending with Lyft, but chances are, like, you may not need this under your credit card setup or portfolio at this time. You may want to just stick to the no annual fee cashback ways and just focus on everything else in life about making more money. Versus with cards, it really comes down at a high level to saving more money. And yeah, sign up bonuses are great and you can earn like a quick one time bonus. But again, that's its own system and what game, hobby, passion, whatever game you want to play. If you came to this part in the video, the Chase Sapphire Preferred has a big brother known as the Reserve. It has a $795 annual fee and it just got refreshed. And I'm still in the middle of deciding whether to keep it or not. So to figure out all the details and everything you need to know, click this video here and I'll see you there. Peace.